I am making a video on healthcare. I have come up with a article that describes a little bit that goes into it. There's obviously more that needs to be adjusted on it. I only want it to be a couple pages though, but straight to the point. So the first thing, there's 4 different elements. There's the patient, there's the monetary system, there's the professional, which is the doctor, whatever the title they're holding. We want to try to make it a functionality of the body. And then there's the pharmaceutical company. So within all of these, we have to try to interconnect them and make them cooperate. So one of the things that I would suggest would be using family farms at their will and at their discretion. How they use a lot of farms use like a specific one crop that they farm their entire field with. So I would say intertwine a medicinal herb that goes with it, and that can be planted in order to help the main crop grow and produce abundance. But also then you can come back and you can pick the medicinal herb and use that as well. So you're protecting the soil, you're protecting your main crop, and you're coming back and you have this extra medicinal property which can be used in this new health program, which is based specifically, the majority of it is based on preventive care instead of the band-aid of care. So we want preventive. We want strong arm health by preventing disease instead of contributing and then trying to band-aid the situation because we don't exactly understand the disease yet. So we want to use the farmer aspect, and we want to connect that into the pharmaceutical aspect, into the insurance, the patient, the physician, whether it be a chiropractor, an herbalist, an MD, whatever. We need to interconnect everything. So and I already know that there's an aspect that already goes to the pharmaceutical company, but we want to try to stay away from that synthetic part, because what we eat and ingest comes out of our body and goes back into the ground. It doesn't matter if you're male, female. It doesn't matter if you're a baby, a child, a teenager, an adult, middle-aged, or elderly. It's all going to come out of your body and it's going to go into the ground. So it doesn't matter who you are, what age, what sex, what race, which creed, whatever. It's going to go back into the ground. Whatever comes in goes out, and some of it stays inside your body. So we need to be more cognitive about how we process this information. The next thing, we look at all 4 aspects that I spoke about: professional, patient, monetary, which would be the actual insurance company and the virus piece paper, and the pharmaceutical company. We need to look at each element and see, we need to see their opinions. We need to see what they would change. I know what I would change, but I'm not 300 and something million people. So you would need people to suggest. So, short of going door to door, you would have to have city or town meetings, or establish somebody to collect that data. Or, I could do it for my own state and go to town and ask, but I'm only one person, so this is going to have to be, if you want to change, you better get your pants on and your shoes tied and laced up and be ready to discuss the matter of healthcare and how it will function We want to base this off of functionality and what kind of medications we're going to dive into. Obviously, there is going to be still a need for synthetic medication. You can't change the system overnight. It doesn't work that way. So what we want to do is motivate the pharmaceutical companies to go to a more natural, healthy, herbal-based instead of a little bit of herb and a lot of it of synthetic. We want that main component of herbal plants. We want plants. There's a plant to cure the majority, right? So let's base it off of the preventive. And then we have the patient's point of view. Okay, you want to get small time. Let's go to the doctor's office. The doctor is responsible for their patient. So their patient should be understanding, and the doctor should collaborate with patients that have the same type of the commonalities in health issues, and speaking, hey, you know what? When I am taking your information down and I'm collecting this data, you're saying, you know, this medication makes you feel this way, this medication makes you feel this way. What is it that you would like to see that's different? And take that and put it up against the medications. Get yourself informed on the medication that you're giving your patient, and then go back and look at a natural way. Look at a more holistic, how are we going to prevent you from being on that type of medication, and how are we going to get you onto a more natural way of living, through diet, through herbal remedies, through different types of exercises. Let's get away from all the surgeries and have the surgeons, giving exercise plans and telling patients, hey, instead of let's try this before we do surgery, or, I really think this is more important than doing surgery, instead of just jumping into the surgeries and without, I know from personal experience, doctors are very intelligent, but whenever people have that much intelligence, they start losing that common element with the everyday people, which would be myself. And so whenever they're speaking to you and you ask them to further explain, it gets lost in translation, and it's just the repetitive repeating the same thing over and over again, and they think that you're going to understand. Well, that's not how it works. If we're asking you to explain it and you're just explaining it in the same way, or just using one or two different words, and we're not going to get it. So there needs to be some kind of combination of patient-doctor interrelation, in the fact that the doctor needs to be completely informed about the medication. If he needs to sit there and have somebody that goes through the information for him, then that needs to be done. And everything needs to be disclosed. And then they need to find a preventive way instead of a Band-Aid way. No more Band-Aids. We don't want the Band-Aids. It's not, like I said, it's not going to happen overnight, but it needs to start progressing that way. Otherwise, we're going to keep declining and keep having to pay thousands of dollars for prescribed pills. Not saying that's not necessary ever, because there are cases that it's necessary. I mean, our world is pretty invaded with toxic elements from the past, and some of it's from the future. We got so many landfills. So what we need to do is create less of a hassle on our body. Let's regenerate our genetics, and let's regenerate our DNA structure, and prevent further damage to generations to come. We need people to volunteer their knowledge instead of us having to run after people and try to find this information. There's a lot more to my plan, but this is kind of a basic element of how what direction I'm going in. So we have the physician, the patient, the monetary aspect, which would be the insurance company, and the actual physical paper itself, and then the pharmaceutical company. So we need to focus on those 4 elements, and we need to get ideas rolling and get some more solutions, because combining ideas are the best way. Think tanks are good. All it takes is one idea to start that think tank, and then we get rolling and going. So I think we can do this. Have a good day, and I will make another video soon. Thank you.